CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
The Coroner's Service has launched a death panel review to find out why so many people are being killed in floatplane accidents along the British Columbia coast. Over a 2-year period between August 2008 and May 2010, 4 floatplanes have crashed in BC, killing 22 people. The Coroner's Service says that is an unacceptable number of deaths.
We were realizing that we were having a lot of fatal crashes of small airplanes, particularly on the coast of BC. And as the coroners did their individual investigations, they realized there were some common factors, and we thought it would be helpful to do an aggregate review, looking at a number of the crashes together and seeing if we could find what those common factors were and hopefully make some recommendations that will prevent future crashes and therefore future deaths.
The panel includes various aviation experts and representatives from the commercial floatplane sector, as well as the Federal Transportation Board. The coroner is expected to issue recommendations resulting from the panel investigation by the middle of next year.
The Coroner's Service has no power to make binding recommendations. We're like the Ombudsman in that regard. We have influence, but we don't have power. By involving all the players in the process, that's one of the advantages. And we actually, at the moment, have a very good record of having most of the recommendations that we make are implemented. We will track the recommendations, we will see what has been implemented, and we will follow along and see what happens. But it's a matter of influence, not of actual power.
In recent years, a number of floatplane companies have adopted additional safety measures. They include improving door latch releases and recommending passengers wear life jackets during flights. Well, get ready to say goodbye to the rail portion of the Johnson Street Bridge in Victoria. The city has awarded the contract to tear it down. The pre-construction work will go to a Mill Bay company, Ruskin Construction. That contract includes the relocation of TELUS communication lines and the removal of the rail bridge portion. The City of Victoria says Ruskin was the lowest bidder on the tender at just over $1.8 million. As an added bonus, local First Nations are going to be involved in the project.
We're excited because it's within the budget. It is a local island company and it is local jobs. One of the most interesting things that we just came to light is we recognize that the part of that partnership is a partnership with the First Nations, our local Songhees and Esquimals. So not only is it a local company, local jobs, but it's also supporting First Nations economic development. All of this is great. It's good news for the City of Victoria. It's good news for the citizens.
The contractor will give the city a work schedule over the next couple of weeks. Work is expected to get underway next month and be completed by spring. The mayor says the city plans to have some of the ironwork on the bridge used as public art to mark the history of the Blue Bridge. Well, strong winds sent a landmark in Nanaimo crashing to the ground overnight. This piece of public art was known as the Spar Tree and High Rigger. The wooden statue is nearly 23 meters tall. It stood at the corner of Albert Street and Victoria Crescent since 1985, commemorating Nanaimo's history in the forest industry.
I guess we just weren't aware that the base was starting to deteriorate, and last night, with a bit of wind, it came crashing down. We're very, very happy that there was no damage done and certainly no injuries, but we were lucky because it's a very crowded area. If it had come down during the day, there could have been an entirely different result.
A nearby tree and lamp standard were both damaged by the falling wood. The city says it'll now consider replacing the statue with an equally significant commemorative piece. Elections BC is closing the case on the Cash Heed campaign. It says it will not launch another investigation into the spending allegations because there's no new information to pursue. Elections BC says after careful review, nothing new has surfaced in the previous investigation or in the RCMP report regarding Heed's spending during the 2009 provincial election. BC's chief electoral officer says as far as the agency is concerned, the case against Heed is over. Heed's former campaign manager had alleged up to $40,000 in election expenses were unaccounted for, but had no evidence. The NDP's Justice critic Leonard Krogh had asked Elections BC to review the matter, and Krogh says tonight that voters deserve an apology.
There's a member of this House who is sitting here as a result of a tainted election. You know, this does nothing to enhance the public trust in the electoral process in British Columbia. I have yet to hear Christy Clark apologize to the people of British Columbia or to the voters of Vancouver Fraserview. I have yet to hear Mr. Heed apologize to the voters of Vancouver Fraserview. I have yet to hear the President of the BC Liberal Party apologize to the voters of Vancouver Fraserview.
And like so many others, the matter's been thoroughly examined. clearly reviewed. Again, it's ended now finally, and it's time for me to move forward.
A BC Supreme Court judge fined Heed $11,000 for overspending on that 2009 campaign last August. BC Ferries is warning you, if you're planning to go, to expect high volumes of traffic as football fans from up and down the island make the trek to the mainland over the next 2 weekends for first the CFL Western Final and then the Grey Cup game. It's going to be busy. Ferries suggest you make a reservation soon. Thousands of people are expected to be traveling between the Lower Mainland and the island. Passengers are advised to travel one sailing earlier than they plan to avoid disappointment. BC Ferries says on game day both weekends, there's a good chance you might find yourself on the sidelines.
We're going to be busy at times we normally wouldn't be. Out of our Swartz Bay terminal on Sunday morning, we do expect the 9 a.m. sailing to be very heavy, and normally on a Sunday morning, traffic would pick up at a Swartz Bay later in the day. We also expect the 7 and 9 p.m. sailings out of Tawasin to be particularly busy this weekend. So we do want to advise customers to plan ahead.
BC Ferries will be adding extra sailings from Tawasin to Swartz Bay at 10 p.m. to accommodate customers coming home from the Grey Cup and Western Final. Of course, it's Lions versus Eskies this weekend, and hopefully Lions versus the Eastern champion the following weekend. If you want to find out more, go to the BC Ferries website at bcferries.com. Well, those familiar sleigh bells, appropriately enough, started ringing outside your favorite stores today. The Salvation Army Kettle campaign has begun. And if you see or hear a kettle, one of the 2,000 on the island outside your local store or on a street corner, drop in a donation and help the Salvation Army. If you don't have any cash on you, you can go high-tech this year on the Salvation Army website, salvationarmy.ca, and you can make a donation online. This year, the Sally Ann has launched iKettle 2011. You can customize your own iKettle webpage, then invite others to donate and to fill your iKettle. Money collected will go to fund community services and emergency shelters, as well as the Sally Ann's food and hamper program.
People give for different reasons, but the end result and what the Salvation Army does with it is huge. Lives are changed for even the smallest donation. For myself, growing up, I was a recipient of some of those funds. And so to be able to be in the same city and to be able to help orchestrate some more of that for other people, knowing what it's like to receive it, yeah, it's a huge joy.
The Salvation Army Kettle campaign at Christmas is its largest single fundraiser of the year. Last year, the Sally Ann raised more than $200,000 locally, more than $18 million across the country through the Fill the Kettle campaign, and they're hoping you can help them do it again this year. So the Nanaimo RCMP are asking for your help as they try to track down two men who tried to abduct a pair of teenage girls. It happened early Sunday morning, sometime between 3:30 and 5 a.m. Police say the girls were out at that hour walking near 2nd Street and Howard Avenue when they say an older model 4-door car, likely red or burgundy, began driving past them repeatedly. It was near Fairview Elementary School that the car stopped and two men got out.
After the car passed several times, it stopped. The two males jumped out and forcibly grabbed the two males and tried to drag them into the car. The girls fought back, which stopped the abduction. The guys ran back to the car and took off in a westerly direction. The girls did receive some injuries from the attack, and they did wait several days before reporting it, but they have come forward. They provided statements, and they've been very forthright, and we're trying to determine who's responsible for this crime.
The driver is described as Caucasian, about 5'11", with shoulder-length dark brown hair. He could be as young as his late teens or as old as early 30s, police say. The passenger looked to be in his 20s or early 30s, 5'7" to 5'10", with a long face and medium build. If you know anything about who these men might be or what they were up to, you're asked to contact the Nanaimo RCMP. Fundraising for Janice Place is going strong. Millions of dollars have been committed already to the Home Away from Home for Vancouver Island families whose children are being treated at Victoria General Hospital.
3, 2, 1.
And there are plenty of ways for you to contribute. Here's one. Sponsor a light on the Grand Hotel's Christmas tree. Janice was on hand in Nanaimo last night as the mayor flipped the switch to turn on the lights. The hotel is partnering with the Queen Alexandra Foundation to raise $40,000 in advance of the grand opening of Janice Place in January.
We have 2 trees that are lit up. We have over 2,000 lights on the trees, and we're hoping that each light will bring in $20. We're just, as a community, we've all come together, and I think we've made it happen for a first run. I think we're quite pleased with the outcome.
CTV's Bruce Williams is the chair of fundraising for Janice Place, and he was on hand emceeing the event last night along with you-know-who in the red suit. If you'd like to make a donation, log on to grandhotelnanaimo.ca.